Hey guys, welcome back to my story. Did I just say my story? Welcome back to my channel. So today's video is about a woman that got engaged to her husband's friend whilst her husband was in prison. Why are you getting engaged if you're married? The kind of thing happening in this life. But let's
Story
get
time of
into it.
how I ended up getting engaged to my husband's friend whilst my husband was in prison. Let's get into it. So I met my husband when we were younger and it just made a lot of sense. We clicked, we ended up dating, we ended up getting engaged, and then we ended up getting married. A year and a half into us getting married, he gets arrested for a crime that he didn't commit. And I know he didn't commit that crime because when
Oh,
the crime took place, he was literally next to me. So there was no way that it was possible. But the woman who was the victim of the crime identified him as the one that did it. And he ended up getting convicted for 12 years.
are you kidding me? So is it possible that he might be a twin? Or the woman is hallucinating. She didn't see clearly, or she's looking for somebody that she will pin the crime on. Do you think there's any possibility of such happening?
As
Huh?
you can imagine, being married to someone for a year and a half and then them going to prison for 12 years is a lot on any marriage. The first year, we're writing to each other as a way of staying connected. I go and visit him a few times, but where he is in prison is like very far from where like we lived basically. And being honest, it was just a huge hit on the marriage basically. My uncle is a lawyer and he's representing my husband, and he's made a promise that he will do everything he can to make sure that my husband gets out sooner. I'm obviously upset and frustrated. I take all those emotions and I put it into like art and creating this business. So at the time I created this like bespoke doll business where I would create bespoke dolls for people, but it's still not filling the void, the emotional void. Me missing my husband, there's a big void there. His
I don't think anything could fill that void at that moment because you guys just got married in just a year and a half and your husband has was taken away from you. I don't think there's any void, anything that will be able to fill that void.
close
Wow.
friend, which my husband would call his brother, he was also my friend as well. So he was a mutual friend between me and my husband. He ends up kind of filling that void. He becomes my emotional support system. He's also, stepping in as that
Oh,
stability, I would say. And one thing leads to another, and we end up unofficially dating. And then I guess another thing leads to another thing.
please, how do you get up? I'll be getting, what's the English now? English people. How do you unofficially start dating somebody? Somebody, please explain it to me like I'm in kindergarten. How do you unofficially date somebody?
And he
Let
ends
me
up
know.
proposing, and I say yes. My family are absolutely
Ah,
livid. My dad, especially, he's looking at me like, how can you go and get engaged to your husband's friend? It's not making sense. He's looking at my fiance like, how are you doing a thing with your friend's wife? Like, everyone's against it basically,
mm-hmm.
which I get, but at the same time, like at the time, I feel like no one was truly understanding the loneliness that I was feeling, and how it was just a lot on me. So fast forward, one day I'm like in my shop. I had a shop at that time selling these dolls, and I look out the window and I see this figure that literally looks like my husband. But in my mind, I'm telling myself, I am tripping. There's no way, my husband's obviously still in prison. A few days later, I go to a family dinner, and my uncle, who is obviously my husband's lawyer, lets me know that my husband is being released early. So 5 years into his sentence, he's now being released. He doesn't need to serve the 12 years because they now have the evidence that shows that it wasn't him. So here I am, my husband is coming out of prison, and I am engaged to his good friend. Stay tuned for part two. Story time of how I ended up getting engaged to my
Oh,
husband's friend whilst my husband was in prison. Part two. So me and my fiance were stressing out. We obviously didn't think that my husband was going to be released early. I tell my fiance that when
let's be honest. The two of them actually are made for each other. She and that fiance that was supposed to be the man's friend, that the man was even calling a brother. The two of them are meant for each other. Ugly. Let me show you guys this handcrafted tie and dye shirts. It's so lovely. It's one of my favorite thing. Let me show you another. So this comes in blue and white. Just if you want to shop, go to the link in the description. You have several other items there too, but I just wanted to show you guys this one before we continue. You can see me wearing it in the video that I'm doing today. So yeah. So for those of you that may want to something like this done for you, maybe for your bridal showers, anything for school, anything you want, like a group, like a bulk order, you want it a specific one done for you. There's my direct email is in my description. Send me an email with your order, then we can take the discussion from there. But yeah, let's continue this video. Let's go back to the video.
My husband is out, I
Behavior.
need to be the one to go and see him. I need to be the one to tell him that I'm basically now engaged to his friend. My fiance is like, no, he needs to be the one that needs to go and see my husband. Like, he needs to tell him man to man. So we find out when my husband is going to be released, and a few days later, my fiance drives down to my husband's father's house to go and see him. And that's quite a long distance, it's quite far away. That same day, I get home and I put my key in the door, and I have this feeling, like, I can't explain it. It feels like a gut feeling that someone is in my house. I open the door and I still have that feeling, and a man calls out, I'm at the table, and there is my husband sat at the table. And him and his father have created this master plan that my husband will get to me first before my fiance gets to my husband. So there I am, face to face with my husband. He obviously has a million and one questions. He wants to know, do I still love him? Do I still care about him? Did I miss him? And I can tell he already has a feeling that I'm at least dating his friend. Like, I can tell. Tensions are high. He ends up staying the night because he has nowhere else to stay. The next day, he's demanding answers to his questions, and tensions are just very high. My fiance ends up coming back home, and now my husband and my fiance are literally eye to eye, and shit just hits the fan. They end up having a physical fight. There's blood, there's punches, anger is literally at the absolute highest. But yeah, that's basically like what happened. I guess in terms of like how everything ended, I obviously didn't end up getting back with my husband, and me and my fiance, we didn't end up getting married, but we just decided like we like what we have, and how we are suits both of us. But yeah, that's not my story. That is actually an American marriage story time of how I ended up getting engaged to my husband's friend whilst my
Oh, wait, this is actually a book. But do you think it's possible for something like this to happen? Like, I 100% believe it. There are people actually living this reality. In fact, even as you are speaking, there are people cheating on their spouse with their spouse's friends. Even as we are speaking right now, I'm speaking right now. So yeah, I don't doubt it. Wow. If you were the one, what would you do in this situation? Let us know in the comment section. See you. I'll check up more stories. She knows how to tell the story.